Hey guys, Max Scoville here for the Destructoid show, and I'm here to check out Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which is the new game from Big Huge Games, and it's being put together by Ken Ralston, who is the lead designer for Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The art's being done by Todd McFarlane, the creator of the comic Spawn, and the story's being written by R.A. Salvatore, the famed fantasy writer. So that's quite a huge supergroup behind a video game. I've seen some gameplay videos before, but as far as getting any hands-on time, this is my first try, so let's jump right in, see how it goes. Here I am playing as a mage in the dungeon, and I'm gonna creep around and kill some bad guys. The game is pretty colorful. This was immediately seeing pictures of it kind of a turn off for me. I wasn't really into what Todd McFarlane's doing with it. It looks a lot like a high-res version of WoW. But that's an aesthetic opinion. The gameplay itself is really, really tight. I've got to say that right off the bat. It depends what you're into, but it's fun. That was me trying to sneak up on these wolves, but I forgot what I was doing and just sort of shot them with a lightning bolt, which just kind of made everyone come after me. Luckily, I have my ice traps, which are blowing up the wolves and this Etten brute guy. It's a huge game. At least that's how it's being presented. It's you've got R.A. Salvatore, who apparently wrote 10,000 years of lore for the thing, and you've got Todd McFarlane, who designed all the did all the art direction, and then lead designer was Ken Ralston, who's worked on Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, and Oblivion, both of which are giant friggin' games. And you've got this, which is I was expecting like a kind of super group sort of RPG, and it's a little bit more playful than I expected, I guess. That quick move I've been doing, it's called a blink, and before I had a blue one that was part of the Arcanist destiny, I guess. I'm switching to Warlock, and this is like basically just switching perks sort of. And now you can see I have a green trail behind me, which does poison damage as opposed to ice damage. And again, this is they kind of dropped us into the game about 2/3 of the way through the main story with our characters at level 20, so it's like a lot of stuff is taken care of for us. We get a chance to really run around and fight some monsters, but at the same time I'm a little bit overwhelmed trying to figure out what all the different spells and shit do. Looting system's good, pretty straightforward. You're not picking up like tankards and candlesticks. It's basically stuff that you'd actually want. So, do you want some new iron greaves? Do you want some plants? You can pick a lot of plants. There's all alchemy thing. Here I am summoning a little skeleton familiar guy. See the eyeball over this Etten brute's head, or whatever he is, priest, lights up when he's aware of me. And here I am in Reckoning mode, which you do just kind of tapping the trigger buttons, and it's like bullet time with some quick time event shit thrown in. So I can do that, and then I can pound on Y, and it's gonna give me a experience modifier, which is cool. It's a fun little system to do. The quick time events are actually kind of enjoyable, and doing that, on a major boss makes a lot of sense, because you do the finishing move, and then you get bonus 50% experience. Here's the map, the lovely Feylands. I like the map. It's old school. But as you can see, when you mouse over a location, it shows you what's there. So if there's blacksmiths, or an alchemy table, or a marketplace, it'll tell you that, which is actually really convenient. And this is a kind of a change of pace for locations. This is a nice desert area, canyon country. And these guys, the previous area was kind of kind of made for lower level players, I suppose. I mean, it's not like there are levels exactly, but you will encounter more enemies that are at a certain level than there are. You know, there are places they don't want you to go early in the game, which is sort of an MMO approach to playing things. Like I said, the combat's really fun. The camera didn't bother me at all when I was fighting anybody, but when I was running around, it was a little bit bothersome for me. But, you know, I got used to it. It's a pretty game if you like the style. Everything about this game, honestly, is very clean. The combat feels really tight. The menus feel straightforward. They're not like, you know, rampantly innovative or anything, but everything's done with a certain level of confidence. You know, it's not trying to overstep its bounds or completely overturn the whole idea of what an RPG is, but you know, it does what it's doing right, and I think that's a fun attack. I like that one. Kind of charges it up and then, you know, blows people up. Here's a Fate Weaver.
Franz Engelhardt, Fate Weaver extraordinaire at your service. Well, this is most unusual. I cannot glimpse your fate. I look at you and
well,
all
hey,
I
fuck you
see
too, man.
is a void.
But no, that's a big thing, is your character is sort of the only person in this world who's not affected by fate or destiny. You have like a blank slate as a character, which, you know, makes sense in an RPG. You can sort of pick your shit. But everyone else has a sort of a destiny that they're set to. That's how it works. So that's, you know, you're like the chosen one kind of deal. And this is actually my producer playing. He took the controller at this point and reassigned all the skill points, which was great because we were like, you know, level 20, and now we have no idea what anything does. And now half of our robes, you know, we can't use them because we're not in a high enough level, even though they're just robes. Go figure. But yeah, you've got, you know, finesse and sorcery and might, all of which would have different, you know, perk trees in them. And I think some of those are just sort of like passive abilities, whereas other ones are, you know, attacks that can be mapped to your buttons. Here's the blacksmith forge. Everything there is very modular. You know, you're not bringing in ingots and crap. You're kind of like, you can break down stuff, but it's all like, I think you have like 3 elements per creation. It's all pretty straightforward. See at the bottom there on the left. Yeah, just kind of MacGyver it. Break something and build something else with it. And you can name things anything you want. I think I was suggesting we call it a wacky wand or a magic mage missile, but my producer decided to call it Max's Magic Mage Stick. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Jumping to a different point in the game where we were playing as a warrior who's got a big-ass warhammer and a longsword and is a lot of fun to play as. You know, it's one of those things, like, seeing it, you're like, oh, it's like a guy swinging a hammer, that's whatever. But then you actually pick it up for yourself and give it a shot and get a much different, you know, you get a reaction. It's got kind of a cool beat-em-up feel to him, like hack and slash, kind of old school, like, you know, Golden Axe or something. You're like, oh, there's no way in hell I could ever lift up that hammer, but here I am using it to whale ass on this Niskaru tyrant. This is part of one of the main story quests. I don't think we're going to have any spoilers here, just because I have no idea what's going on. But, you know, there's this castle that's under siege, and, you know, being this fateless hero, you have to make your way through it and fight monsters, go figure. LOL RPGs. And here's a boss. The boss fight's pretty pretty badass, actually. I really liked it. This is the Balor, which is sort of this wandering Cyclops thing. There was a guy riding on its head earlier that had a rope tied to its eyelid, and he was pulling back on the eyelid, and then, you know, this thing's basically like a really ugly version of Cyclops from the X-Men. If he opens his eyes, he shoots lasers everywhere. So he's just kind of screaming and clawing stuff and having some big old dude tits. I kind of wish I'd played this part with a ranged attack, like, you know, bow and arrow or some kind of sorcery, because I don't know if I can shoot him in the face, but you know, using a melee attack on a guy who's like this tall doesn't really work. Anyway, there's the game. Like I said, it doesn't seem like the most innovative thing in the world ever. It's not like groundbreaking, I'd say, which is almost disappointing considering all the people working on it, but it does seem very, very confident and very solid and well-rounded, and I'm curious to see how it does when it comes out.
Well, there you have it. That's Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. That comes out early February of next year on consoles and PC. And you can see a couple more videos we have up on this channel right here. That's youtube.com/dtoid. Subscribe. I'm Max Scoville, and if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them. See you guys around.